I usually stand up to give a talk. I usually have shoes on, and I usually don't have my leg on a Pilates ball. So just to give you my first lesson in life, I was going up an escalator in flip-flops. That was not working, and I basically missed the step and mangled my whole foot. So I have 14 stitches. So I haven't been able to walk. It's the first day I've worn shoes in a week. So yeah, that's my first lesson. Because I love my flip-flops. Now I look at them and I look at escalators and I go, those two things don't go together. As you can hear, I've got an accent. I grew up all around the world, 6 countries, Asia, Hong Kong, Shanghai, France, Belgium, the UK, and New York. My parents obviously are getting me used to one thing, and that's change, just how to navigate change. So I tied that later on into my story. My path from a sort of education and work perspective is pretty safe, actually. I did sort of all the right degrees, I did really well, I got all the right grades, I went to some really impressive companies, but I wasn't happy. That's the bottom line. And I don't have much time to go into sort of the details of my story, but I spent 15 years in New York, kind of chasing the dream and chasing money. I worked for AOL, I worked for Sony, I worked for the Boston Consulting Group. I kept on sort of jumping around thinking, this isn't it, this isn't it, this isn't it. And I climbed a very high ladder. I was very senior. I was running a $500 million venture capital fund at the age of 28. And I sort of laugh when I say that because I sort of go, I have no idea who that woman was that was doing it, because it certainly wasn't me. But I had this sort of identity that that's what I needed to do, that's what my parents expected from me, that's what I needed to study, I had to go to business school. And I remember sort of being in this job going, I've got this inner world that's kind of me, and then I've got this external world that's kind of not me. And, my inner, what I call my inner microphone was going off very loudly for me. And it was saying a few things. It was saying things like, and it would wake me up really early in the morning, and it says this to you: Ariane, you're in the wrong job. And then you kind of have to go along with your day. Or it was saying, Ariane, you're sleeping with the wrong guy. Or it was saying, Ariane, you've got to lose the weight. Because I was a good 35 kilos heavier than I am now, just to give you a sense of how messed up that life was. But on the outside, I was really, really successful. I was making a lot of money, and I thought that was the goal. So anyway, it took me 2 years to have the courage to leave and to get off the ladder, because it was the wrong ladder. And I started sort of getting back in touch and sort of listening to my intuition and going, what is it that I actually want to do? Which is not what my parents want to do for me, it's not where I want to live, it's actually what I want to do. And, to make a very long story short, I got back in touch with the fact that I wanted to make a difference that was really missing in my career. I wanted to contribute, I wanted to help people, I wanted to connect with people, and that was nowhere to be found. And I didn't know I was going to be a writer. I hated public speaking, like most of you do. It was the last thing I could ever possibly see myself do or make a living out of. And, life sort of takes you on your journey. When you get clear on what's true for you and what you love, then doors start opening. So I did write books, and I did get covered by Oprah, and all that stuff, is great, but I'm a lot more aligned, where my inner life and my outer life are they're in sync now. And I met a South African man, and I now have a son with him, and I live in Cape Town, and my life is totally different. So even though it looks like my professional life changed, but actually my whole life changed. The weight comes off when you're happier, you stop smoking, you stop eating what you shouldn't be eating, like everything sort of gets linked together. So my obsession has been to help other people pursue their dreams and help other people get what they want, pretty much, because it's so hidden in some ways. It's so sort of behind so many walls and beliefs and can I or can't I or what's possible. So I've written 4 books. One is all about change, the first 30 days, which is what I call the 9 principles of change. And I'm not here to pitch my books, but change is the most important life skill you can learn. Professionally, personally, in your health, in your families, whatever. So getting good at change is very important. It's actually usually what I get asked to speak about, and I speak about it for 3 hours, and I go through all the 9 principles. I'm a big believer in being mindful and being conscious in everything that you do, so I wrote a book on mindfulness. And then I wrote a book on pursuing your dreams and leaving a job or a life that you don't like, and a book on health. And that's sort of the cornerstone. When those things are there, a lot of amazing things happen. Started a business called first30days.com, raised $5 million to get that done. And it's a website that can help you through basically any type of life change. What I do now is I'm pretty much a part-time mom. I speak when I can. I speak at schools. I speak at foundations. I write articles for a bunch of magazines here locally. But this is pretty much the sort of things that I love. So instead of talking about me, I'm going to sort of try and share a few things that I think are going to be just helpful for you guys in terms of where you're at with your life and what I find is probably the most important things to sort of focus on if you're thinking about life differently, if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about what's working and what's not working. So the first thing is you must start knowing who you are. You must focus on yourself. Self-help gets a terrible rap, personal development, all that stuff is like, oh my God, it's so not me. Well, it has to be you. It has to. You need to know who you are. You need to know what your emotions are telling you, your feelings are telling you, what your thoughts are, where are your beliefs from. Those things are basically making you who you are. One of the first things I sort of get to with people are, what are your excuses? What are the main excuses that are in the way for people in any area of their life? So I'm going to read some of these to you. What prevents you from dreaming big? What prevents you from doing anything? I'm too young. I don't have enough money. I don't have the skills. It's too hard. It's going to take too much time. Or I don't have the time. Someone's going to disapprove if I make this decision. Someone's going to get hurt. I'm not ready. I'm never going to be ready. It's not perfect. I don't have a big idea. I don't know what I want. I'm alone. I'm overwhelmed by how much there is to do. And if we could, I'd ask for another 50 from all of you guys because they're awesome. But getting in touch with what is your excuse, because everyone has a dominant life excuse and it shows up in every area of your life. I don't have time, it's too much effort, life is hard, whatever it is. But start having a bit of an awareness of what's your mental dialogue, because that's the thing that's sort of blocking and needs to be unblocked to begin with. There's 3 things that basically make up sort of how you show up in life. Your beliefs, your language, and your physiology. What do I mean by all 3? Your beliefs. The foundation of who you are is what you believe. What you believe about yourself as a person, what you believe about life, and what you believe about whatever it is that you are trying to do, whether it's quitting smoking, starting a business, asking someone out on a date. You have beliefs that are either allowing that or not allowing that. Einstein, just to give you an example, he said the most important decision you'll ever make in your entire life is to decide whether you live in a friendly world or an unfriendly world. So is life on your side or is life against you? Is life conspiring for good or is life always putting obstacles and challenges? Do good things happen or do bad things happen? Is life a safe place or an unsafe place? Like 2 completely different set of people. Very hard to start a business, dream big, take risks, leave, get divorced, if you're in the I've got to keep everything really safe and controlled. Same thing with, the beliefs about yourself. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not. I was a corporate girl. I did 15 years in the corporate world, Then I went into yoga, and then I went into meditation, and then I went into self-help. That was not me, guys. I was a venture capitalist from Stanford Business School. The hardest change you're ever going to make is how you see yourself. It's your beliefs. It's like anything you attach the words I am to. I am an entrepreneur. I am too young. I am, a woman. So that means all of this thing. So be very, very careful of what beliefs you're holding. It's easy to make money. How many people believe it's easy to make money? Very few people. It's just a belief. It's just a belief. Or I can make money. I can have it all. How many people think they can have it all? Or something is going to be costing or is going to be sacrificed? You have beliefs about entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are crazy. Entrepreneurs, risk everything. Entrepreneurs are young. Entrepreneurs are techie. That's not me. I'm not a tech person. You have beliefs about South Africa. You have beliefs about Africa. So without getting into too much stuff, you're a walking jumble of beliefs. So as you hit a block in sort of I want to do this, but it's usually a belief that's in the way. It's not a skill. It's not money. It's not something you're not able to do because those things are always possible. Same thing with scarcity and abundance. Are you in the scarcity category and abundance? Are there more jobs? Are there more businesses to start? More ideas? More people to date? More homes to buy? More things to do? Most people are in scarcity these days. There's less and less and less and less. You need to move yourself into there's more of, because when you see it that way, that's when you start seeing the possibilities. Same thing with expectations. You know, we've all grown up around families, beliefs, religious beliefs, countries' beliefs around what it means to get a safe, stable job, what it means to pursue your dream, what it means to travel abroad, what it means to turn 30. Most of us have expectations. By 30, I want to be married and have a kid. Guess what? For a lot of you, it might not happen. And then what? Right? So we suffer when we have expectations and plans, and life goes, sorry, buddy, but that's maybe a little bit in the future, or even earlier than you thought. You know, it took me till I was 38 to meet the person that I wanted to be in love with, and to have a child wasn't my plan. I suffered a whole hell before I got there. Didn't need to. But what makes you suffer and what's hard is you have a plan, and life also has a plan. So it's like, how do you sort of, you know, find your way through it, where you can tune into yourself as to what it is that you actually really want to do. Two things that I see consistently come up in people that block them from dreaming big, thinking about their life, are what I call the disapproval program and the perfection program. We walk around disapproving of ourselves more than 50 times a day. 50 times a day, it's like this invisible chatter. You know, whether it's about yourself physically, whether it's about what you said, what you didn't say, what you could have said, all the things you didn't do, didn't get to the gym, didn't say this, didn't say the right thing in class. You need to have an awareness of disapproval is not good fuel. It drains your energy. It doesn't make you feel good about yourself. People who dream big, who start businesses, they like themselves. They like who they are. They believe in who they are. It doesn't mean you're perfect in any way. It just means that you're on your side. You need to become your own raving fan, because no one else is going to do that for you. Same thing with the perfection program. So many people don't even start because they think it's not ready, it's not perfect, the website's not ready, it's not perfect. This perfection program, it blocks people. You need to drop the things need to be perfect before I can even start. You know, think about your definition of what it means to have a successful life. You know, I'd love to hear a whole bunch of what you guys would say. What is success? What is failure? I had what a lot of people consider a lot of the external success. And the more successful I got, the less happier I was. And the less healthy I was, and the less available I was for my friends and my family. So, you know, my lesson, and it's not everyone's lesson, is that life is really made up about, you know, who you're with and what you contribute and what you leave behind and what you give to other people. So, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, power moves through those who serve. Power moves through those who serve. You get energy when you're doing things for other people. You don't get energy when everything's sort of focused on yourself. I talked about, you know, beliefs, language, and physiology. Your language, your brain is hardwired to talk in a certain way. Some of you have excellent language and excellent vocabulary, and this is not about grammar or intelligence, and some of you have terrible language. I can hear how people are wired. They'll tell me they had a nightmare of a day, and things were awful, and things were a nightmare, and things were, you know, crazy and so upsetting, and this and that. And it's sort of, I can hear the way they're viewing their life that way. You have words that you go to all the time that are wiring you. One of your favorite words here in South Africa is shame. Everything is shame. I show you my beautiful child, and people go, oh, shame. Like, that is not a positive word, guys. It's not. You know, it's one of your favorite words in this country. So just tune in. You know, your friends know your go-to words. You use words, and they are not empowering you. Some of you use great words. Same with your questions. Some of you are sort of, why is this happening to me? And then you go into victim. Or why did this shitty thing, you know, again have to show up on my plate? So have an awareness, you know, when you ask a question, your mind's going to answer it no matter what. So when you ask a better question, what's possible? What can I learn from this? How can I find some humor in this? Who can help me with this? Your brain goes, oh, okay, I can answer that question too. But your brain is hardwired to use language and beliefs, and those need to sort of start changing. So my hope for you is to just sort of have a little bit of antenna on your head to go, okay, wow, I always ask that question. Why do bad things happen to me? Or why is this so difficult? Of course it's going to be difficult because you get what you focus on. You know, that's basically what's coming to you. Your physiology, you'd be amazed. Your physiology is basically how and who you are as a physical being. Are you slumped over or do your shoulders back? Is your voice clear? Is it strong? Are you taking care of yourself physically or not? Like, I can tell you one thing in Silicon Valley, where I've been for years, is that all the startups have figured out that they have to take care of the health of their employees. Not because they're working 100-hour weeks, but because they can't be loaded up on sugar and caffeine. Do you know at Twitter, coffee is not allowed at Twitter? You'd think it would be, because they freaking work very hard. Because it is not good for employees to be loaded up on sugar and caffeine all day. Same thing, they've got yoga mats, they've got meditation rooms, they've even got sleeping rooms. So accessing who you are physically, like I know when I've had entrepreneurs come to present, when they are exhausted and not taking care of themselves, I can tell immediately they can't go the distance. There's no way they can go the distance. So there are times where you think it's better to go off and work on something. I'd rather you go for a run. I'd rather you take a nap. I'd rather you do something else, because your physical body is the only thing you're taking with you. Your physical, mental, emotional health, I can tell immediately. When you're strong and healthy, your presence is different. People like you. You're a nice person. You're happy. People want to work with you. People want to invest with you. It's sort of this invisible presence of who and what you are, and that's where it starts. You look at athletes, you see how they walk on the court. You can see they're holding their space. There's someone and something there. Starting a business, being an entrepreneur, it's not all mental. A lot of it has to do with your emotions and your being, who you show up as. Okay, so for those who have an idea or don't have an idea, I've started some businesses that have worked, and I've started businesses that haven't worked. And I've invested in businesses that have sold for $400 million, and I've invested in businesses that have sold for zero. So here are some lessons that I've learned, and I wish somebody told me this when I was, sitting where you guys are. You must do something you love. You cannot do something because you see an opportunity in the market, or you think there's, some money to be made. If you do not love it and it is not your passion, it is not going to be your thing. You can sell the idea to someone else who it is going to be your thing. This thing needs to be something you love and adore and you're so passionate about. Your intuition, your heart, your stomach goes, yes, absolutely. It's not really my thing, but it could be huge. Okay, that's just direct. Your body's constantly giving you clues. Am I excited about this? Am I not? Do I want to be working on this? Do I not? How do you recognize intuition? I always get asked this because I'm a big intuition person. Your intuition does not speak loudly. Your intuition is not sort of flashing lights at you every day. Your intuition is always there in the background, kind of telling you you're a bit off course. He's not the one. She's not the one. You're in the wrong place. You're hiring the wrong person. It's the wrong logo. The website's not, whatever it is. If there's this constant and you need to give a microphone to that part of you. Because the answers are not necessarily outside of you. They're not in experts. They're not even in me. All I'm doing is turning this back onto you and having you guys sort of wake up those parts of yourself. You change the world when you're passionate about what you're doing. That's what I pick up as an investor. Wow, this person is going to do this no matter what. Whether I give them $1 or whether I give them $1 million, they're still going to do this. They're passionate. They're going to find a way no matter what. A lot of the times people go, entrepreneurs these days, people think about things online and things on the website and things tech. I'm not a tech person. I tried to be a tech person. It didn't really work for me. I'm much more of a tangible person. So for all the people who are not tech gurus, don't even try and be a tech guru. There's a lot of other people who can help you, who can build. I mean, the website for this is spectacular. I don't know who did it, but the Upstart website is fantastic. It can be in anything. Design t-shirts, design toys, do a food product, design furniture, design something more tangible. Open a restaurant, do a juice bar, do things that people don't necessarily think of. Do something new in real estate, open up a school, open up a health center. Do you see how part of being an entrepreneur is to sort of open your mind up to things where you wouldn't necessarily see as sort of being an opportunity? You can teach something online. If you're really good at something, teach something online and charge for it. You'll be amazed. I think the thing with finding good ideas, I wrote this down somewhere because this was really helpful. How do you generate fun ideas? You find a way to solve someone's problem and to remove their pain. At that point, they will pay you something. So look around, even on campus, shopping malls, anywhere. where are pain points for people? What are people struggling with? Where are they wasting time? What are they upset about? What are they complaining about? What do they want? What are they challenging? And that's where you start solving problems. So find the pain points. I told my brother, he's really good at doing resumes for people. And I said, creating a CV and a resume is a pain in the butt. People will pay you for it. And he makes a fortune now just basically having people clean up their resumes. Because people are willing to sort of pay something for that. Find a way to save people money. It's very important nowadays. People want to save money. How can I do this in a better, cheaper way? Find ideas that are recession-proof. People are always going to spend money on their kids. People are always going to spend money on food. People are always going to spend money on feeling connected, which is why technology is working. But find ideas where they're not going anywhere. No matter what, stock markets crash, Zuma does whatever he's going to do. Everything's going to continue to be as it is, and people are going to continue to spend money. But observe. My biggest idea is, my change idea. I walked around and I go, every single person I'm meeting is going through a change. They're graduating, they're starting businesses, they're losing their job, they're getting pregnant, they're getting divorced, they're quitting smoking, they're moving, they're losing a loved one, they are getting cancer. And I'm thinking, is anyone talking about this change stuff? Because it's all around me. And why is change so hard? And why are some people good at change? And why are some people bad at change? And it just became an obsession. I wanted to figure it out. And now I make money from my obsession with helping people go through change, because all I did was observe people who would sit next to me and start telling me a bit of their life story. So just tune in, because the universe is constantly trying to sort of give you clues. Entrepreneurs are optimists. They unlearn things. They assume that things are not fixed. You can do something differently. They don't think they're right. They are constantly asking for help. They're willing to consider anything. They ask questions. They don't kind of go, oh my God, I'm going to feel ashamed or embarrassed if I ask this question. There's this constant sort of childlike, desire to sort of keep asking. Don't hold on to your identity. I'm the girl who would never be seen dead in, whatever, this environment. Or I'm the guy that would never go to a yoga class. Whatever it is. When you hit some of those, you have to do those things, because that's what stretches your identity. That's what pulls you out of your comfort zone. What are you good at? What do people think of you for? We're so bad at acknowledging ourselves for what it is that we're really, really good at. What are your gifts? When people go, John is great at what? Or Jane's great at what? What is it that you think people say? And if you don't know, one of the best things I've ever done is I've emailed 10 friends and said, what do you think I'm really good at? Because there are times where I'm down in the dumps, I don't really know what to do with my life, those things happen to me too. And I sort of go, I just need a little bit of feedback. You're great at, and then people know you, sometimes even better than you know yourself. So just get a perspective. Who's going to be on your team? One of the excuses is, maybe I could do this, but I'm not sure. Oh my God, what are my parents going to say? I promise you, when I left my big job, my first call was not to my mom or dad. It was not. They are still trying to digest the fact that I gave up this big, very successful life. My father was really excited that he, knew the company I worked in and could read about it in the Wall Street Journal. That was super exciting for him. Now it's like, he has no clue what I do. But you're not here to live your parents' expectations. You're not here to do the life that they want for you. And it's very hard, because some of you will do it, and eventually you'll sort of find your way. But you're not alone, People who dream big and create their life, you will disappoint people. You will. And people will disapprove. And people will laugh. And people will say you're crazy. And you know what? That's fine. They can only be with how they view life. They can't be with how you view life. And your goal is not to change them. Your goal is just to stay true to who you are. But your change team is not necessarily going to be your closest friends and family. So don't try and rally them. Don't try and bring them on board. Very often when you have an idea, or when you're trying to lose weight, or whatever it is, it's usually brand new people who come into your life. You don't know them. They don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know your identity. They don't know your excuses. They know nothing about you. And because of that, amazing things are possible and happening, because they don't put you in a box. The only box is the one that you put on yourself. Choose your team really well. Because I can tell you one thing, and there's lots of scientific proof about this. The 5 people you spend the most amount of time with, you are being, and you will become. So if you are with 5 people who are dead set on going to work for a bank, it is really hard for you to sort of veer off and get excited about an idea and get a whole bunch of wind in your sails. If you are with 5 people who, are all pretty unhealthy, it's really hard for you to go, you know what, I'm going to sort of cut down on whatever it is you want to cut down on. If you're with 5 drinkers, it's really hard for you to go, you know what, this alcohol thing, it's not very supportive for me. So figure out who your 5 people are. And it's not that you need to change your friends. It just means those are not the people who you're necessarily going to share your life path with, or your dreams with, or your ideas with. New people, just be open and aware. When you start putting that out, there's amazing synchronicity that starts happening. You sit next to someone, or you're in class with someone, and someone starts saying something, or you see a book that's the right book for you, or you read a magazine article, or you show up in here and you hear the one thing that that you need to hear. It's got to be people that you like, because if you start building businesses with people that they might be super qualified and have the right skills, but you need to be okay having 3 meals a day on a weekend with them, okay? Because that's what entrepreneurship can look like. 3 meals a day on the weekend. Do you like this person enough to do it? But it can't just be people you like. This is not just sort of this friend group thing, how wonderful it is. They actually need to complement some of your skills. Very important to find your why. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to change your life? Why, when the why is strong, the how is really easy. Most people get really hung up on the how. How am I going to raise the money? How am I going to find the people? How am I going to figure out the tech side? How am I going to, no. If you know why you want to do this, that is what keeps you going. Why do you think women lose weight before their wedding? Because they have a really strong reason why they have to lose weight before their wedding. Why do women stop smoking when they're pregnant? They have a strong reason why they have to do it. The why is your fuel. Most of us get very hung up on the how. So ask yourself why. And I can tell you from experience, I'm going to give you a jump start. The biggest why you can have is doing stuff for other people. It's not money, it's not for yourself. When you are doing something of service for other people, there's this universal influx of energy and flow that starts being given to you. What else? What do you want your life contribution to be about? Okay, 3 more things. Start small. I have started big and spent way too much of my investors' monies, and they haven't gone very well. Start small. Put up a website. I don't care if it's got, an email catcher that says, launching soon. Here's this big idea. Please enter your email and we'll let you know when we launch. I don't care if you've got nothing else behind that. But put something out there. You'll be amazed at just the action of putting something. The other thing that kills ideas and kills startups is a lack of focus. It's great to brainstorm, and it's great to have 1,000 ideas, but one idea done right is much better than having 1,000 ideas. Your website, your product does not need to have 50 things that work. It needs to have one thing done really, really, really well. So just cut, not for now, not for now, not for now. And what's the one that's really obvious, really clear? Start with that. Get something done and up as soon as possible. If it doesn't work, change it. You can change the logo. You can change whatever it is that needs to be changed, but just start with something. It's what I call constant and never-ending improvement. It's fine to keep reinventing things. Don't stay stuck on your original idea too closely. People get stuck on their thing like it's their firstborn child and they can't change anything about it. It's fine if your idea doesn't look like anything it looked like a month later or 3 months later. Take action. Softer skills are things like visualizing, meditating. You'll be amazed when you visualize what it is that you want, whether it's for yourself physically, whether it's a relationship, whether it's whatever, a website, a product. Imagine it, think it, visualize it. You have the time to do this. Your mind is busy with really unimportant stuff. Just see, how do you want it to be? How do you want it to look? Meditation, again, huge right now in the US. Sit quietly for 15, 20 minutes. You don't need to think. You don't need to ask yourself anything. And just be. Your mind's going to start dropping things in. And just watch and observe. But do it in silence and peace and quiet. Last 2 things. People who are entrepreneurs have a very different relationship with time. It's not that they have more time. It's just they use their time really well. because they know what it is that they want and they're not wasting time. But they also give themselves a much longer runway. So people underestimate how much they're going to do in a year or 5 years, but they overestimate how much they're going to do in a month or 3 months. So if nothing appears to be getting done in a month or 2 or 3, it's fine. Your life could look totally different in a year, and even more different in 5 years. So it's a reason why most people don't get their New Year's resolutions. You give yourself a month to get them, and then you're done. You give yourself a year to get them, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to do something. So time has to be your friend. You're not in a rush. This is what I learned. Stop running up escalators, Ariane. You're not in a rush. Just wait. Just life is on your side. Things are going to happen the way they are. Make time your friend. And the final thing is, things have to be fun. Things really have to be fun. I have heard too many people going, you know what? It's just what I'm studying isn't fun. What I'm working on isn't fun. My boyfriend's not fun. My life's not fun. Fun is sort of, it's your fuel. Find what it is that can combine the fun and combine you actually giving back, and that, I promise you, will be the winning formula. Stop taking yourself so seriously. That's also the big message. That's it. Thank you.